Well, our first exercise, and I use the quotes, and I'm sure you can't see me, but you can imagine me doing little quotes with my fingers here, is really more about A, how to use the exercises, and B, prepping your computer so that later on when I reference something in the exercises, you know exactly where to go to get the files. Because here's the thing, I can say, hey, I need you to go open this file, but I need you to know where that file is going to be, right? I'm not providing you with a DVD necessarily, right? You're downloading these files. You are choosing where the file is going to go on your local machine. So it's just going to be easiest if we come up with, I don't know, a unified way that you and I can both talk about files on your machine and you know where they are. Okay, so first thing I wanted to show you was just a sample of one of the PDFs that we're going to work with later on when we do our actual exercises, when we get into creating cubes and dimensions or building reports with reporting services, etc. Then this is similar to what we're going to look at. The one that I've pulled is actually from a course on reporting services. And you can see it's got, this was exercise 2 in chapter number 6. And you can see it's got a set of prereqs. It's got a set of steps that go along with it. So the idea of the exercises is that when we launch, when we start the video, I'm going to say, okay, here's the file. I want you to go open this PDF. You then open the PDF. You say, okay, step 1, let me launch your, and you go do that, and you launch that, and you go work through everything. And if you get stuck, then resume the video. You're going to come back, you're going to listen to me. I'm going to say, okay, well, let's launch Report Builder 1.0, 2.0 and open our template file, and you're going to go straight into it. Okay, so you're going to see me walk through it. I'm going to cover some of the common troubleshooting issues, some of the common problems that people would have with doing the particular exercise. The exercise steps will often have visual cues about what it should actually look like. They're not always going to be exactly what you would see. You know, it goes back to what we talked about. My operating system may show buttons a little differently than yours does, right? Or whatever theme and settings that I have. But they are fairly in depth. You should be able to follow along with them just by reading the exercise page, the PDF. Many times at the very end, they will say, here's the final product. This is what yours should look like, or something like this. Okay? So that's the basics of what we'll be covering when we get into actually working with exercises. Now let me just kind of walk you through the setting up of your machine and coming up with some terms that you and I can use and know what they mean. So the first thing that I'm going to suggest is that you pick one of your drives, and that's where your videos go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my C drive, and I'm going to just make a new folder, and I'm going to call it course 165. Okay, so I'm going to suggest, I'm going to expect that somewhere on some drive you're going to have done this already, or you're going to be doing it now. Now you can name it course 165-SSAS, you can name it SSAS course, I don't care. But for my videos, when you see me 3 chapters from now, 6 chapters from now, open up an exercise, I'm going to go into a folder called course 165 on my C drive. And that's the folder that's going to contain all of the files. Now, here's what I'm going to suggest for you. I'm going to suggest that you have chapters for the various folders. Okay, so you're going to have chapter 1. It's probably something you've already done. Those of you that have downloaded the chapter files and just extracted these to a chapter folder, perfect. You've got that part taken care of. Okay, so then you'd have chapter 02, etc. If you want, what I actually do is I create a folder called chapters, and I just create those chapters inside that folder. That way when I come over here, I've got some other things here. Now, I need you to make another folder. I need you to make a folder for the exercises. Okay? So the next one that I need you to make a folder for, let's see. You know what? I think that's actually good enough right now. So chapters and exercises. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to well, you don't have to pause the video. You could do this at your leisure, right? You want to create a folder that stores all of the course information. Then inside there, you want to have chapters and exercises. Okay, now, you know what? You could call this videos if you want. I don't care. Just put the videos in there. Okay. The exercises, though, that's where I want to focus on right now. You're going to want to make another folder for each one, chapter 01. I like the 01 series as opposed to chapter 1. You know why, right? Because if I make it chapter 1 and chapter 2 and then blah blah blah, we get all the way to chapter 10, what's going to happen when we sort these by name? Okay, they're not going to get sorted. Chapter 10, chapter 2 are not going to be sorted the exact same way. So if I do them all by 01 and 02, then I get sorted by 0, 0, 0, 0, then by 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, then by 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. All right, so chapter 11, chapter 12. Okay, that's as deep as we go for this particular course. Because, now this is important, because when I come in and I say, okay, now I want you to go to your exercises folder, I'm going to have an expectation that you have a course 165-ish folder. You go to your exercises and we go to that particular chapter, and that's where our files are going to be. And sometimes this is going to involve you copying a file into this location, or sometimes there might be in other locations. But I will kind of need a little bit of participation from you in this. Um, It'll just be easier if you have a single location for them. Now let me just say, there is the question, well, Scott, why don't you just give us one single download that has all of the exercises, that has everything in a single file? You know, the problem with doing that is simply right now I haven't created all of the exercises. Like as I record this, this is like the 6th video in the course or something to that effect, right? Video number 6 here. It is the 6th video I've recorded. So I have not gone out and written every exercise 12 chapters ahead and have all of the files already. I kind of come to them as I do them. And the reason I do that is just to get it out there as quickly as possible so that people can start training on it as fast as they can. So I know that kind of puts a crimp in some of the style for this. Now, but the other part of it is so many of the files need the exercises with them that it's easier to just put them in the individual file. People will download one file. Some people will download an entire chapter. Some people will download one file at a time. So it's just easier to embed everything in the individual videos and the individual chapters. That way we make sure everybody has the files when they need them. Okay, so I think that's it. Just make sure you have course 165, videos and exercises or chapters and exercises. Put your videos in here and copy the PDFs and the exercise material into that, or I will do that for you when in the chapter downloads. And we're ready to go. I'll see you in the next video, and we'll actually install the SQL Server 2008 samples, and I'll walk you through how to do that.